And I now look to Baroness Tina Stowell to continue the case for the opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and it's a great honour to be here, and it's a great privilege to follow the previous speaker, but I do disagree with very much everything that you've just said. So I hope to put a powerful argument as to why people in this room tonight should oppose this motion. Now, I've not attended one of these debates before, and I've not participated in one either. But I accepted this invitation because I feel very strongly that patriotism unites us. And so when I saw this motion, I thought, I've got to come here. I've got to come and speak against that motion. And I wanted the opportunity to make my case in particular in front of a group of people who are by and large young and all of whom are very talented. Now, I don't say that to you just to flatter you. I want to make it very clear right from the start how impressed I am by the hard work and dedication of you all, both in your journey to Oxford and whilst you are here, because I think that is an important point that I will come back to. But you are young and you are well educated, and what I've learned is that a sense of pride in being British, and for me the us we're talking about is about us as people who are not just citizens of Britain but or of the United Kingdom, but actually live here. And what I've learned is that a sense of strong pride in being British amongst young people is declining. And also, more worryingly, I feel that there is now a very big gap amongst those who feel strong pride in being British between those who are graduates, people like you are going to become, and those who are non-graduates. Now, when there was a piece of study done by the NatSen in their British Social Attitudes survey a few years ago, and they found that only 20% of graduates feel very proud to be British, only 20%. But 59% of non-graduates feel very proud to be British. If I may, I'm going to keep going and make some progress. We've got quite a bit to get through. Now, that gap really worries me, and I think it should worry members of this House. Now, I should perhaps at this point declare a couple of interests. As you have already heard, I am a Baroness. I was leader of the House of Lords, and I was a member of the Cabinet. You don't get much more establishment than that. I've lived in London for the last 30 years, and as you've also heard, I was the lead minister in the House of Lords that took the Equal Marriage Bill through the upper chamber. And I am proud to say, by the way, I got a bigger majority in the House of Lords than they did in the House of Commons. So you might also describe me as a metropolitan. But I'm quite different to some of my contemporaries and my colleagues, and indeed to members of this House here, because I am not a graduate. I did not attend university. If you like, I started on the shop floor and I made my way up the ladder. Now, the reason why I tell you that particular piece of information is so that you understand my credentials for some of the arguments that I am going to advance tonight in this debate. Now, I'm afraid I think I'm going to be the first person, I didn't think I would be actually, to introduce Brexit into this debate.
Hooray.
And as you will understand as I continue, you'll see why. Now, whenever I want to talk to anybody about Brexit, I feel it's very important to say from the get-go that Brexit did not cause this division and divide that we feel in our society right now. It exposed something that already exists. And in the next couple of years, we need to be as concerned about the causes of Brexit as we are going to be about the negotiations for the terms of our exit from the European Union. So as I like to sometimes say, we need to, and if I would direct this to someone like Tony Blair, I would say we need to be not just tough on the negotiations of Brexit, we need to be tough on the causes of Brexit, because I don't think he quite gets that message right now. And the reason why I feel so strongly about tackling the causes is because I think that until we tackle these divisions, we risk more disruption. And so what I submit, Mr. President, is that tonight's topic of patriotism is an excellent place for us to start when we think about how do we bridge this gap in society. Now, as I say, I've quoted from the British Social Attitudes Survey of 2013, and they haven't done much work on this topic since. But I asked YouGov earlier this week to run a question in one of their daily polls, and they, along the lines of the motion we're debating tonight, and they asked their weighted sample of over 1,800 adults whether, generally speaking, do you think patriotism tends to do more to divide than it does to unite, or do more to unite people than it divides them? Now, a greater proportion believe it unites, but there were a lot of don't knows. The headline results are not really that interesting. 42 unite, 33 divide, 25 don't know. The interesting bit of this was that how the data breaks down between those who voted Remain and those who voted Leave. Now, amongst Leavers, 2/3 believe that patriotism unites us more than divides us, and only 17% saying it divides us, whereas amongst Remainers, half believe the opposite, that it divides us more than it unites us. And the rate of don't knows was similar for both. Now, unfortunately, YouGov was not able to give me figures on how the question breaks down between graduates and non-graduates. But one thing we do know about Brexit from all the data is that the single biggest demographic measure that determined whether people voted Leave or Remain was their level of education. So that's why I think this is relevant. And so, to put it another way, one of the reasons why I think there is a massive gap between highly educated people like you and those who are as equally decent, hardworking, and indeed clever, but who just haven't experienced the same kind of education as you, is that they are more proud to be British. Now, I think that's quite worrying, actually. I mean, if they feel that people who are more educated than they might be, but you know, I mean, as I say, these people are just as clever and talented. It's a sort of, it feels like a bit of rejection, actually. And so, what I would like to help you understand, as you are the people with the education and the talent to help us come up with solutions to these complicated problems, is what does patriotism mean to people who are non-graduates and who are Leave supporters? Now, there's something called the Pride of Britain Awards. It's an annual event. It began about 20 years ago. It's sponsored by a red top national newspaper. It's shown on ITV. It gets 10 million audiences. It's a massive event. And what it does, and by the way, all the big people go, you know, royalty, whoever's Prime Minister of the day. I mean, this is a massive thing. And nobody wants to miss it because it celebrates ordinary people who have done extraordinary things. They've had to cope with more than you would expect human beings to have to cope with. It's about acts of bravery, kindness, winning against the odds. It includes people like the parents of Stephen Lawrence, whose child was murdered. And the thing about it is what is celebrated is what people have done. The situations that they may have found themselves in may have been extreme, but in their success, they've all relied on the things that cut across educational and social divides, and it's attitudes and behaviours. It's the sort of attitudes and behaviours you've relied on to get here. And we're celebrating their achievements or their success in adversity because they have relied on the same thing. And it's the same thing that we might applaud when we see Olympians win gold medals like Mo Farah or Jess Ennis. And so what I am trying to argue to you this evening is that there is much that we share between people who have been through the university system and those who haven't. And I think one of the things that we should share and recognise is our attitude and behaviours to how we succeed. I'm going to have to finish, I'm so sorry because I'm running out of time. And what I want to argue is that patriotism is pride in who we are and what we do. It's about recognising in each other, whatever our background or academic achievements, the British spirit and belief in decency and common courtesies that mean we can live alongside each other and work together. Because it's only when we understand what patriotism means to those who feel so strongly about it that we can respect why it is important and see that all of us actually share the same kind of belief, if only we understand the way from where they are coming from.